This is part 9 of the Inherited Trauma series, and we are still talking about rejecting parents. In part 8, I had just finished saying that when we reject a parent, we are rejecting a part of ourselves because we are all 50% mom and 50% dad. When we reject a parent, it's usually because we think that distancing ourselves is going to remove the toxicity from our lives, and that is only partly true. We neglect to realize that their toxicity lives on within us. This is because they conditioned us to be very similar to them. This commonly means that the toxic environment that we grew up in at their hand gets recreated by us in our own adulthood. So you can reject their toxicity. However, in doing so, you're also rejecting the part of you that carries their toxicity within you. And doing this may prevent you from getting the results that you're trying to achieve by creating the distance between you and your parents. Because by creating the distance between you and this part of yourself, you're preventing your healing. This part is the single most important part that needs to be addressed head on. It needs to be integrated and then embodied. Remember, the trauma has to go somewhere. So when you're rejecting the parent and you're rejecting this part that represents the parent, the trauma has nowhere to go. And as you know from previous videos, it just amplifies the more that it's displaced. Rejection is also deeply associated with shadow work because what we reject becomes shadow. We literally cannot see when we are conducting ourselves in the same exact manner as our parents that we're rejecting. Shadow is all about the not self. It's the parts of ourselves that we completely deny. A lot of times this will cause us to be the source of our own suffering. Instead of bringing the aspects of the shadow self to light and admitting that there are parts of ourselves that we are not in favor of, we choose to ignore them, deny them, and then deepen our pain as a result. And the last piece that I want to share about rejection is that the more that you reject a parent, the more you merge with a parent. I had shared in a previous video that merging is essentially when the child is trying to live out the life just like the parent did. It is a form of bonding and connecting to the parent. So I had shared in the last video that I wish I had known that the more that I rejected a parent, the more I would become like her. And this is a perfect example of that. I know it sounds crazy that the more that we reject a parent, the more we become like them. However, please remember, it's an inherent quality of a child for them to want to bond with their parent. It is an unconscious process to keep you close to them.